Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show.
Welcome to another episode of the Tailgate Show. We got the Bears 49ers preview going on, man. What a wild week on Bears Twitter and Bears Universe. Where in the world's Matt Nagy? We've got punk ass bitches making freaking rumor mill shit that they have sources, obvious shit that's been talked about for months. It's been kind of wild, man.
Are we getting Carson Wentz again?
Yeah, Russell Wilson too, and like
Russell.
Still waiting for that A-Rob extension, all that good shit. So
Nobody knows where they're at, though, right?
here we're there, Jer and Trubiscuits, guys. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
What's going on?
Saturday morning.
Afternoon delight.
Take a little, dip your toes in, have a little feel, shall we?
So we got a start of the Coach Tabor era in Chicagoland.
Tabor.
Where's Coach Tabor at? Does anybody know?
I wanted AA on here just to hear his response, man, because he's been wild on Tabor for like what since he's got here.
Yeah.
Did you message him to come on here?
Yeah, that's like the cherry on top for him because like everything's like getting wild, and then they announced Tabor as the head coach. He must have just like.
Under, he would have been madder if Furry was named interim head coach over Tabor.
Way over.
I don't know. I think it's pretty equal. It's just different in different ways. Like he couldn't stand the Tabor signing. Like anything from Cleveland's bad. He like went off. It was pretty funny. But so yeah, man, 49ers coming into town. Jimmy G's got what 100 buddies coming to the game. At least we don't have to deal with a Robbie Gould revenge game this time.
No. Yeah. Thank God. Jimmy G coming back. How many Bears fans are kind of salty about him being in San Francisco now? There was a time where he was very much desired as the quarterback for the Bears.
Yeah, big time. I'm not salty personally.
I'm not either, but
New England Jimmy G, I was like, yeah, why not? But he was really like, you think like this move of bringing in the Trey Lance would light a fire under his ass and we'd see the best version of him, and it hasn't. It's actually been worse. So
yeah.
I think you're also a product of your teammates around you. I think we've learned that the hard way.
Yeah, there's only one Tom Brady. Just because you play for New England doesn't mean you're going to be great. That's just a really good. That is a really good system. Brady's the only quarterback that's really proven that he can work outside of Belichick, though. I mean, like
that is true.
It's coming off like a Matt Castle almost with Jimmy G.
That's good comparison there.
You know, so I seems like a nice guy. His taste in dating's questionable. I would have been a little bit better with that status, but is what it is.
And he also has double the amount of passing touchdowns that we as a team have this year.
Bro, we have 3, and this is 2 quarterbacks, 3 touchdowns in 7 games. That's like, I saw that. I've watched it all, but just getting smacked with it, I'm just like,
it's not even a half passing touchdown average a game.
And that's the thing. The media is so worried about where Nagy is. Like, I would be hopping on his shit every.
What the fuck is he, Carmen Sandiego?
Well, no, like every week I'd be like, dude, what's the whys? Have you found out the whys? Why isn't this shit working? You came here to fix this, and it's season 4 now. Like, it's brutal, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know if like I think he should be shit canned at this point.
Was that one of the oddest things you've heard out of a coach at a Bears presser? In terms of a question and answer of where are you at? I don't want to disclose that.
Well, is it really our business? Like if he's quarantining, like, and he doesn't, that's his private. That kind of delves into his private life. If he was like in the building and yeah, okay, what room are you in? Sure, but like that's his private life, man. Like I'm not gonna sit here and defend Nagy's football decisions and the way he's run this offense, but like I think that's just a little personal, and he has the right to that privacy.
I think that's a fair point. I saw your comment on Twitter, and I wanted to ask you about it and see what your thoughts were. At first glance, it seemed very odd.
Yeah, I mean, I commented to Wiederer about, like, I don't understand the media's obsession with this, and he wanted to get into the Webster definition of obsession. Whatever.
Well,
He knew
you have to be obsessed. That's
I just
the
went
first thing about Matt Nagy.
very interested, Dan. I used it loosely, like, and I like Dan Wiederer. I like his work. He came off a little snarky to a snarky guy, and kind of
Battle of the Snark.
I thought I showed a little maturity on that one, actually.
You're growing, B. You're growing.
It's all about the
Who would have
growth.
thought?
What will really make me grow is if this offense starts really getting it in.
What about Justin Fields' comments? What did you think about that? Where he's like zooming with the receivers, and they're going to start changing routes up a little bit and all that stuff. Now that Nagy's gone, he feels that they can do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like Tabor going to like allow us to like live dangerously? Are we going to see like a let Laser actually have full reign? That would be nice.
I'm for it.
I'm for it too. I don't think that's what happens, though.
You think they're going to cart Nagy in on the iPad?
I think his fingerprints are going to be all over this game plan, no matter what little private bunker he is living in at the moment. I
don't know if I'm
the matchup aspect a little bit later. I just don't see the passing game this week taking off under Tabor.
I don't know, man. If I'm Chris Tabor, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to be a head coach and be like, hey, we're going to do this. I don't give a shit what that guy says because he's over in COVID land. You know, he's auditioning too for jobs. Because basically, if we think what we believe, and that Nagy's leash is very short anyway, chances are all these coaches are out.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
everybody's auditioning.
Interesting point.
Imagine if our passing game was like good. Like you look at who we played. Like, okay, I hate giving the Packers credit, of course, but they went in there, beat the fuck up against the Cardinals, and they won.
Imagine that.
And then Tampa's a defending Super Bowl champs, man. I know we beat them last year before they got hot, but like we lost to two solid teams. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's what I don't understand.
It's just weird. We're really just a passing game getting going off from being very solid.
How the fuck can you run the ball as effective as you can, but you cannot use play action to your advantage at all? It doesn't seem like it ever works. So I'm like, at first we're thinking it's personnel groupings, and then they start putting Khalil Herbert back there. And then there's no screen, I don't know. It's just wild. I don't understand how you can't
They asked Laser
somehow.
They did ask Laser about that. He's like, the two don't always. Sometimes it just doesn't work off each other like that. Sometimes the passing game gets a running game going too.
Well, maybe it's because they don't respect your receivers and they don't get separation.
Oh, there's a lot of answers to why.
You found the whys?
You found them.
Fucking hell yeah, let's go.
Can you share those with us, please?
Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy evaluating talent.
Dang. What do we have for him, Johnny? Yeah,
and it's coaching up too. I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things, and I hope it gets better this week. I really do. It's time. I'd like to see, Justin Fields, like he said, he's getting close to a big game. He feels that. So
it's real.
That's real.
I'm here for it. I mean, this would be a good week for it. I think this is a team that we can, again, a team that has a secondary that's not playing great. I think there's opportunity here, but we haven't taken advantage of it so far this season. So I don't know, man.
Elijah Wilkinson coming back off the COVID list. Larry Borum in the window to return. I mean,
has James Daniels been taking snaps?
Why you're not
giving snaps.
Wow. Okay. Is this a carrot reference? Lost.
No, I'm
Are
just
we
saying. I hope Daniels is getting reps at center. They really dropped the ball with him. He should have been the center since he got here. They got impatient with the development because of who was behind them. They needed a guy up front that could actually call things instead, because 10 wasn't recognizing disguises and all that shit and shifts.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you needed Cody up there to be his binky, and it hurt Daniel's development, and it sucks because I think that he would be a really solid center by now. I've said that before, but I Mustafa needs to go.
Ronas Grasu 2.0.
Oh, dude, freaking Olin went hard in the paint with him on Zimmerman's podcast. I don't know if you guys heard it. Like, so
No, I missed it.
Mustafa's a guy that he's worked with since college. So he's like, he was not tolerating any Mustafa slander. And it's like, it's a little bit homerish, man. Like, I like Olin, and I usually really like his evaluations and stuff. But when it gets to being like, that kind of struck me, because it's like, okay, you know this guy, so you can't evaluate him honestly. It's not just on him; it's on everybody. Well, why are you coming? He's like, he got kind of snippy with Bill. Bill kind of being the professional he is. He's a producer and stuff for Mad Dog, so like this is his world, right? He was able to professionally rein it back in, but like I don't think I would have been able to. You guys should check it out, man, because it was like, wow, okay,
That's crazy.
yeah, it got a little personal. And
Here's the reality of it. Mustafa, on more than one occasion, has fucking softballed snaps back to Justin, where he has to change his line of sight to pick up the damn ball.
yep.
Or he's bowling balled a few, or his performance.
He gets blown up a lot too.
He's weak.
He's holding his own. He's holding his own. Oh, I'm going to give him an okay on that. But he's just Ronas Grasu with worse snaps, in my opinion. I mean, he can get you a stalemate every once in a while, but if you're looking to run power off of him, you're not going anywhere with that. He's undersized. He's going to get blown up every time by a decent defensive tackle, which the NFL's full of.
Right. So you
and which we'll see this week too.
Yep.
So if Borum's healthy, you put him at right tackle. You put Bars in for Daniels. You put Daniels in at center. Now you got some big dogs.
I think that's the malpractice of this whole offensive line is Alex Bars. I didn't believe it until I kind of watched it.
Speak on it.
Alex played good at right tackle as soon as he got his chance. He played well.
Guard too.
Yeah.
And I think his versatility is fogging the vision of the coaching staff, because instead of locking him in at one position, they want to be able to insert him where they need him as an extra guy, but like if he's doing good at two positions and you're going to put a guy that hasn't even practiced the fucking position in, like that. We've seen Bars at tackle in the preseason.
You put him at tight end. Basically he's a glorified tackle.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not. But hey,
Peters.
We're talking about
about
football vision.
Peters.
These motherfuckers are Stevie Wonder.
I appreciated that from him. That was the most transparency we've had.
Yeah.
Like Coach Peters, I'm down, man. Player coach. Like
he came out. Fuck. He's 39, Hall of Famer.
We came out and said, yeah, dude didn't even have like fucking practice at right tackle, and they threw him in.
That's what I'm saying. Is there something behind the scenes that we're not seeing, hearing, that led to that decision?
Coaching
malpractice. Or is this just more
coaching malpractice?
Rashawn Coward situation 2.0.
Let me reach out to a pod guy. He seems to have the inside sources.
Oh, does he now?
Indeed, he does. Oh, I just got a text message from.
It's coaching malpractice, man. How do you feel if you're a player on that team and you see this and you see it in practice? I mean, I know how I was whenever I was in, and I'm sure it's a little different going to higher levels. But if you see a guy that's really good not being used, and it's like, what are you doing? This guy's obviously better. The other guy hasn't even practiced. What are you doing? I mean, it ruins your faith in the coaching
And you trusted him enough to put him out there as an extra tackle, glorified tight end in the first place.
Thank you.
You're right,
Yeah.
Jer. I'm just laughing because like ruins the faith in the coaching, and my shit's been ruined since like week 1.
I know, but you have to. If you're an NFL player, you have to buy in at some level.
The only thing I give this coaching staff maybe credit for, and I think AA nailed it back weeks ago, like the fact that this locker room is still functional is a good thing, but like just because we have a bunch of nice guys, I don't know. Like it's like we had a lot of talent back in the day that just the locker room was such a shit show.
Enter the Coastal Carolina coach. We need some dogs.
Right. I'm just saying, like, you can't just strike that balance of dogs and good guys. Like, we got a bunch of good guys, right? But like, that's great. So
they're great.
Trophy. We'll take that participation trophy. We need some like on the offensive line. We need some
maulers.
Yeah, I mean Peters. Yes, he is. He's on the back end of things. If we had him in his prime, sure. But
where would you rate him as if you're rating the linemen as they are right now? Is he number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
1.
You're not sad.
For me, it's 2. And actually, to push back in the spirit of debate with B, you're talking about moving Daniels to center. I would argue Daniels, especially over the last 3-4 weeks, has probably been the best offensive lineman here. Do you consider putting Bars at center and leaving Daniels at guard?
You could. Bars does play center.
He has, but I think like naturally Daniels is the center. He's got the most experience.
Started at Iowa at center.
Does Daniels want to move to center in a contract year when he's been playing so well at guard? Does he push back on that?
I don't think.
What's the pay discrepancy?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see top guard. I don't think they care about that. They're paying the Cody's getting paid guard.
I think Daniels.
About that.
I think James Daniels cares.
That's the perspective that I'm looking at it from. There is a different salary rise between guard and center money.
You think he's a top 5 guard in the league?
No, I don't. But if you look at the supply and demand of what's coming up in free agency, it's going to be him and one other guy out there. Unless teams are drafting for replacement starters right away, he's going to get paid by somebody. He will get top 10 money.
I haven't really looked at the current rate of pay, but like say he ends up being a top 4 center if he steps in versus a top 15 guard.
I would say the pay for guards is deeper as you go down the list. The centers at the top end make pretty equivalent money, but overall average guards are going to make more. He's going to be over $10 million a year in free agency.
Right, but
he continues out the year.
He has an opportunity to really show his shit, being how bad Mustafer's played. So if he comes in and solidifies that position and we get rolling and him and Justin have a good chemistry.
We'll just touch on this while we're talking about this. Do you re-sign him at the end of the year anyway?
If he steps in, if they can play him at center and he steps the hell up, yeah. You can't let guys go, even if he's
young.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's solid as hell. So yeah, we can't afford to lose a solid piece on our offensive line. No, you have to sign him.
Even if he finishes out at guard, you have to re-sign him at this point. You've worked yourself into a corner where you have so many other pieces to add this offseason, you can't add another one. And that's why I think James Daniels is going to have a ton of fucking leverage here in the offseason to maybe squeeze us for a few more than what he would get out in the open market.
I just like to see him at center. Me and Jared have been calling for him at center since his rookie year. We didn't want
Cody.
Well, he played center at Iowa. I mean, I would agree with you. It is his natural position. The thing that I've always harped on with him and what the Bears have done is it's the constant flip-flop from center to guard.
Well, they did it with Cody too.
I think there's a lot to be said, though, with sticking a guy at one position and letting him stay there and grow and play.
Yep. I agree with that, too.
Now, we might not have any better solutions right now where moving Daniels to center might be a necessity, and you could definitely sell me on that. Anything that gets Sam Mustafa out of there, I'd be on board with, whether it's Bars or Daniels.
I just think it sucks from the perspective that, like, if you would have just kept him in there, he would have learned. And if you look back at what we've really accomplished, it was worth taking the lump to get him developed versus trying to the Mitch thing didn't work out for a bunch of reasons. It wasn't just Mitch. We're seeing that hardcore now. All right, I will say that.
Ooh,
But that was
was that a half apology to the truthers?
no. So
thump. No. Moving on.
No.
That shit down.
Yeah, no. I just think that it wasn't. Daniels was. If you're looking at it now, Daniels was a more important piece to develop. They should have kept him in there and let him learn.
I agree.
So
what did you accomplish? Actually, you could argue that you set your team back further by having success.
Yeah.
At the expense of player development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm mad at Bears Twitter because they told me last year Sam Mustipher was the real deal over that 4-game win streak.
I'll be honest with you. He was a hell of a lot better. He's a hell of a lot better of a player now than he was coming out, than he was when he first started against the Saints last year. He has improved.
For an undrafted guy, it's impressive what he's been able to do. But I don't care about draft status.
In the same way that Leno was impressive as a 7th-round pick.
Right.
Value-wise.
Trust me, I hated Mustipher. When we signed him in the draft, I watched him at the combine. I was like, this guy sucks. And where did he end up? Bears practice squad.
Yeah, well,
he's Harry here, though. I mean, I think Harry had a big part of him coming here.
And with Daniels, we were like,
and Bars.
That's the dude out of college. Like, okay.
Yeah. At Iowa, he's long arms, quick with his feet, could get push.
Student of the game.
Gotten stronger.
Yep. Really penetrates to the second level.
That's right. First one in, last one out.
Real grinder. Real work ethic. Real grinder.
Yep.
Grinder.
Gotta love it. So is there anything that worries you guys about this Niners team?
Running the ball. We don't stop it anymore. Eddie Goldman's a myth. He's not real.
I'm taking my L on Eddie this year.
Yeah.
He is
2 L's on Eddie's.
You guys have been on that. Probably against the opposite viewpoint of me on that, and I think I'm ready to come over to the Eddie Goldman is a myth train. Yep. Just doesn't look like
the Raiders broken
for Oakland, exactly, or London.
The Raiders,
but, yeah. And Akeem Hicks, big game for him.
He's coming back.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell. I mean, he looked pretty decent in the last game I watched.
Looked good enough to keep Trey Sermon on the bench.
Right. I think their running game's solid. Their passing game.
Deebo Samuel scares me a little bit. That's a guy that can go off.
Yeah,
they got a lot of speed.
I mean, we're pretty similar. I think we average 131 yards rushing per game. They're at like 120. Their passing offense is actually, I can't really talk shit. They average they average 243 yards a game. We have 155 yards.
Their passing offense ranks 20th, and their rushing offense ranks 12th.
Oh wow, that means we're what, top 10?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
It's just, like we just can't have things all at the same time. Like we have a top 10 rushing offense, dude. How many years? 3 years with him? We've been waiting for this. Mm-hmm. So like all the hardcore old school, we need to run and play defense. We're doing that.
Well, the defense isn't playing very well either, though. Let's be honest.
All things considered, they are, considering the offense isn't producing at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they've also faced some pretty.
You can't give Tom Brady
potent offenses. Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady was going to do that. He does that to most people.
Like, yeah.
I would say they played relatively well against the Packers, holding Rodgers under 200 yards. I think they played winning football that day.
Because they could run the football.
They played winning football until they gave him, 15 yards of fucking open air to run the ball.
On the run?
Yeah. God. Like.
Well, Jimmy G's not going to give you that threat, but
Trey Lance will.
How many plays do you think Trey Lance gets? As Bears fans, we expect the salt in the wound. So I would imagine that.
Oh, I think Kyle's definitely going to have plays for him just from a spite purpose.
I think it'd be great to see just him versus Fields the whole game.
I
I'd
do
say-
not
I'd-
think that would be great. I think that'd be horrible.
Really, you would rather play against Garoppolo than play against Trey Lance, Jared?
Yes, I would.
Interesting. I think I'm on the opposite end.
Because
I
of
think
his
I'd rather
feet.
see Trey Lance.
Because of Trey Lance's legs.
Big.
That's all we need is. I think that's really all we need as Bears fans is another quarterback breaking out against our defense.
Ooh, now that's a good spicy story there.
Trey Lance has breakout game against vaunted Bears defense.
No, I don't see that, man. I
Nobody does, but it always fucking happens. It's always somebody you don't expect.
You know, Jared's right. Everybody who's slumping always breaks out against us. It seems
Right.
like Jared's got a good point there.
There's something to this though. Like if you guys remember when Justin had his pro day, and he was just kind of like, whoever passes on me, they're gonna like I'm gonna remember it basically. So like Shanahan's a guy that worked with him in high school. Like they go back, and I think the vibe. Some of the vibe was I listened to some Niners guys that cover the team talking, and like some of the vibe was it was going to be Fields because of Shanahan ran the pro day, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Believe he did, yeah.
Yeah, so like they know each other pretty well. So I think like Justin's the kind of guy that remembers shit. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder that way. So I mean, I hope this would be awesome for him if this was the game. I think that adds a little fire. Not that fire always translates, but
Selling me hope, man.
Don't do it.
I mean, I see what you mean, and I think my hesitancy is he's also a guy who came in here and felt slighted about where he was drafted specifically that late, and is that chip on his shoulder enough to overcome subpar offensive line play, bad wide receivers not getting separation, and a shit scheme from Bald Bunker Boy?
The answer to that is no, because it hasn't been yet.
What Justin
Exactly.
Justin kind of told us without saying it, and it's ridiculous that at this level it takes this long. Like the fact that he's just doing Zoom meetings now to talk with receivers, they're finally like giving him the reign to do that. Like this team has it backwards. This whole Tressman, different captains every week. You put the C on Fields. It's his show now.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Put the C
Agreed.
on Mac. Put the C on Hicks, whatever. Get your captains in place. Stop the bullshit. Let Justin should have been doing this as soon as they put him in as a starter. It's like they always have those things with rookies where like, oh, baby steps. He's the man. Let him talk to the receivers. Tell them find out what they like. The fact that we're just now hearing that he's going to be working with these guys like this is fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm glad that he's taken that. I'm glad that they're finally giving him the reins to do that. But why not right when they put him in? Like this.
That would have made sense. It would have been a progressive thought.
Correct. Yeah.
It's not something that Matt Nagy does.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are killing it in meetings, though.
Fields probably had to suggest it. That's how bad this guy is. That's how bad Nagy is. Like Fields is probably like, Coach, let me talk to these guys. Like it's ridiculous. So hopefully we see that difference. Like, fine, that they're finally taking this upon themselves, which is kind of sad that the coach didn't suggest it right off the bat.
Well, we're gonna find out if Fields is Nagy proof, because if he has a successful game Sunday, do you let Nagy come back if they would say they blow the 49ers out like by 40? The defense plays okay, the offense explodes for 23 of those, or 24 of those 30 points.
If we score,
you let Nagy back in?
If we score 40 points, I would definitely hope that the protocol's extended until the offseason.
Does he get the Mike Martz treatment in St. Louis where, well, your health's kind of bad, bud?
I think
maybe just stay home.
I think he'll be back. It's not what I would do, but I think he'll be back. And they'll spin it as a collaborative thing from the bunker that they came up with together. Everything goes through him.
We score 40 points, bro. I don't know if I'm letting him back in.
We score 40 points. I'm flying nude to Pittsburgh next weekend.
No, you're not.
Book
Good
it.
Lord.
Boom.
The COVID cantina flying around.
That's right.
Yeah, and
No,
if
I mean,
any,
I think it's a valid question, though, Jer.
any of the listeners are going to be in Pittsburgh, definitely reach out to us. We're going to be having this huge tailgate with hot air balloons and flags and grills, and
There will be sources there. Source experts will be there.
We're gonna do it. Are we gonna do a meet and greet, guys?
oh god, I'm not that special.
Did you bring your 8x10s?
Wow.
I just got my headshots last night.
Pause.
Which head?
Anyway,
No, I like to meet some people though. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a meet and greet. Just like we're fans. It'd be cool to see other fans.
Yeah,
there's plenty of
Of
tickets
the Bears,
available.
not of us, because I really don't think we're. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm just a dude. So
Same.
I run an account called Trubiscuits and Gravy. Trust me, I am nobody special. But
you're a brand, bro.
Hey,
You're
man.
a brand. I'm just an old dude that likes the Bears.
I'm a burnt brand.
You are.
Please, people, stop tagging me in your burnt post.
Yeah, we're not letting Biscuits run the fucking grill.
Oh, I'm running the grill. So listeners, come out.
He's already running the grill. He's running the grill
world
now.
famous steak. What's up? Yeah, I actually set up a grill in Pittsburgh already. It's already smoldering.
Yeah, so it's under the Trubiscuits brand, though, not under the Tailgate Show. We're not gonna put our name on that.
You know what? Don't want to mix those streams there.
Oh man.
No, it should be a good time though. It would be even nicer if we find a way to win this weekend going into Pittsburgh, a 500 team with maybe a chance to be relevant in December.
Well, reality is this is an elimination game for both of them. You lose to the 49ers, they now have your tiebreaker.
I'm seeing.
So if you want to be a playoff team, starts now.
People are calling us to go 6-4 or 7-3 on Twitter. So a lot of positivity.
And that's the Pulse of Twitter segment.
It's wild, man. Like it's all over the place.
What did Iggy say?
What's that?
What did Iggy say?
She tagged Iggy on a response to me. Yeah, she's very positive though. I appreciate that. I mean, honestly, I wish I had that skill set to be positive in a dumpster fire. Like I wish I had that because that's cool. I'm glad you can keep that energy. And I'm not completely negative on it. Like it's all about Justin for me. So like if I see him getting better, it's really about the future. It's not just about this season for me. I want to see growth in him, not on him, just growth as a player.
Right.
Okay, I think you said it good in the thread. You know, it's not the fact that they've lost these games; it's how they've lost these games and what it's looked like.
Yeah,
I could handle, you know, being 1-5, 1-6, whatever the case may be, if Justin Fields was showing growth, the offense was moving. You know, I think we all knew, besides people who were tagging Iggy on Twitter asking for a win, I think we all knew this wasn't going to be a true competing year. And you hammered this so many times on the pod, the Monday show, which was this is a chance to get Justin in here, get him developed. That way next year we're ready to fucking rock and roll. Maybe without a Rodgers in Green Bay.
And see the talent or be able to evaluate the talent around Justin. And not looking so great.
No.
Pace has got a full plate of.
What's most disheartening about the Tampa game is there was a lot of junk time and Justin didn't do anything with it even then. That's kind of brutal to watch.
Yeah, and I wish I had access to the L22 because on a close, like a quick look, it doesn't look like. Sure, once in a while there's NFL separation. Not a ton though.
No, I agree. And your receivers have to make catches for you too when you get the ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
The drops have to stop. Looking at you, Darnell Mooney.
Last time we ran a slant pass though.
No,
dude, I can't recall a single fucking one.
How many times have we talked about that? Like easy shit.
Welcome to the game preview now. Now we're getting in it.
That's the thing. Like you don't have to stick to your whatever you want to call your system all the time. Like there can be simple football concepts.
Yeah,
make things easy.
There should be for a rookie quarterback. There's a thought, Nagy.
Yeah,
Nagy.
we can't even like I don't know, man. There's just so many things like you watch other NFL offenses. That's why I put the anyway. You watch other NFL offenses and you're just sitting there like, man, why does it look so easy? Screen game. It's just like everything. Just like the fundamentals are just lost with this coach.
Mm-hmm.
He'd rather get this complicated system ingrained in these players' heads instead of just getting to the simple fundamentals of the game.
Do you believe that Matt Nagy can only coach his scheme?
It's not his. He's just.
I'm not even sure if he can coach it at this point, but yes. Going back to Dan Orlovsky's point that he had made, that he's never seen anything else, I completely agree with that.
It's not his. It's just Reed's, and it's a dumbed down version of Reed's because we don't have the fucking horses to run it.
They don't either, by the way. The Chiefs aren't exactly lighting the world on fire either.
If that's what
Doug Peterson, also unemployed.
We would kill for the Chiefs' current offense, though, production-wise.
They had 3 points last week.
How's that working out? How's that working out for Philly?
3.
How's that working out for Philly? Getting rid of Peterson.
It looks like they've made some moves for their quarterback. Looks like they can score points.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if we want to hang our hat on the Chiefs struggling because they had to revamp their whole offensive line, and that makes you feel good about yourself.
What it shows me is that the system is dependent on stars that we don't have. So why are we running the system?
Yeah, like you have Tyreek Hill and Kelsey,
and they can't get but 3 points.
But that's one game.
What the fuck makes you think the Bears are going to score 7?
Okay, hold on, Jared. They put up 33 week 1 against the Browns, 35 week 2 against the Ravens, 24 against the Chargers, 42 against the Eagles, 20 against the Bills, 31 against the Chiefs, and then 3 against the Titans. We would kill for those amount of points.
Okay. Thank you, Stats and Gravy.
I'm just saying, it's nice that you want to use that as something to make yourself feel good about your team, sure. But they it's not like they're like totally a lost season here. Like
their defense is the biggest reason why they're reeling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
But I mean, Jared's point, yeah, they looked terrible last week on offense. They did.
Yeah.
Our defense is the only reason we have our head above water.
Sort of.
So now if we could have the Chiefs offense and our defense, we'd be good.
Eddie Jackson would still fuck it up.
I can't.
Anyway,
I know. At the defense, I can't really we need to score points, man.
It's hard to fault the defense right now.
Khalil Mack is out.
So is Quinn.
Quinn's
Gibson,
out.
come on down. Yeah.
Quinn's out?
I'm pretty sure.
No, he came back off COVID protocol.
I thought he did.
You sure about that?
I didn't know he was ruled out. That's news to me. But hey, I haven't.
Stats and Gravy just.
I haven't been on Twitter much.
Boys and girls, Stats and Gravy lied to you. My apologies.
Yes, you did.
Because that changes. That would change a lot. And where's Snowden?
In Russia, hiding.
I just think he'd be useful right now. But
different Snowden. My bad.
Charles.
Okay.
I mean, maybe he's just not turning the heads on the practice squad, man. But
with this team and these coaches, what would it take? We talk about it with Alex Bars. What's it take, man? Who's got to die?
That's what I'm saying. A fast, lengthy guy that can rush the passer and cover tight ends, and I think it'd be useful right now. See what he has.
I mean, unless he's making Cole Kmet look good in practice, I don't get it.
Maybe
that's it. Cole looks great in practice versus him. They're like, nah, man, we good.
Yeah, we're hearing those rumblings how good things look in practice too.
It's rough.
It has been rough, man, and it's actually we've been talking about it. Sometimes it's tough to you're like, man, do we really have to talk about this team this week? It can get rough, but It just needs things to get clicking on offense, man. Like I know we've been saying it for years, but
since Matt Nagy showed up.
No. We just got to get back to scoring points, guys. That's it.
Is this the week that
we have to get to scoring points first?
We really need. It just needs to come to a point where we need Justin to be above his surroundings.
Yep.
We need him to be able to elevate the people around him and the shitty coaching. And that's a lot to ask for a rookie.
Yeah. Big time.
He's in a tough spot right now. I'm not going to make excuse. I'm really trying to strike a balance too, because like I've done it for Rex, I've done it for Cutler, I've done every quarterback. The fan in you wants to see these guys succeed, and sometimes that's blinding. So I'm just kind of just staying in the middle with it because I want this kid to succeed more than anything. I've loved this kid since college. This is the guy I wanted us to draft, and for the first time, they actually drafted the guy. I don't like to be too repetitive, but this is the guy they've actually drafted. The guy I wanted. So I'm really hoping he's able to do it, but at the same time, I'm not gonna every single mistake he makes have a rebuttal for it. He needs to be better too, but the deck is stacked against him pretty hardcore here.
Yeah, he's not throwing it to Chris Olave and all those guys now. And
he's the most pressured and most sacked quarterback in football.
No, isn't there a stat with him versus David Carr's stats at Houston?
No,
I think there was it's getting to that rate.
Only stat I have on that is he leads the NFL in sacks 22 times. He gets sacked 14.4% of his dropbacks and pressured on 20.9% of his attempts.
And the holding the ball thing's been debunked, maybe at some points, but it's like 1.8 seconds I saw at a certain point. It's just like that's not enough time.
Nope.
Yeah.
Receivers got to help. Tight ends got to chip. You got to make catches when you get the chance. Lineman got to block.
And you had the Castillo, man. You had the whole offseason. You drafted the guy that was going to be your future, and you brought in a guy that you thought was going to be your serviceable quarterback and gave you the best chance to win. And he had to come in and just like ping, 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 just so nobody could get to him to disguise the fact that our offensive line sucks. So,
and then Castillo hasn't helped himself. Not starting to correct. Well, hold on now.
There's trash, bro.
Okay. Jer, our resident O-line expert, and maybe you can completely shut me down here.
I'm not going to completely shut you down, but what I'm going to tell you that on his resume now, he can say he's developed a top 10 rushing attack in the NFL. Although they can't pass block very well. The argument for him can be made that he has a top 10 rushing attack in the NFL. And it's produced with two different running backs. And it's not just because of the running backs.
That I can't push back on. However, I think
the pass blocking is atrocious. I agree.
The complete opposite end of the spectrum. And they've had how many games to evaluate Mustafa, and they still continue to march him out there. And then there is last week's debacle with marching Latavius Simmons out there. I mean, at some point, as a
coach, to me,
you got to put your best guys out there, and the fact that they're not identifying that, I do think that's an indictment on Castillo. Running game is great, sure.
This team never has.
That's the why. Why can't we develop a passing game off the running game? You don't need to get extreme with your passing game just because you're running the ball. You need to run RPO, play action. A lot of play action. There's been more fucking design runs for Mac Jones than Justin Fields. What the fuck?
Right?
You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to do things. You have to, if your run game's top 10 and you're not having a serviceable passing game, there's a real issue in your philosophy. So
I agree.
Change your shit up. Make it simple. If they're going to bite on the run, you have to make them. We're running so effectively that they're going to bite on the fucking run. Play
They
action,
should.
RPO. Let's stop
Especially, especially in a competitive game where you're running the ball. You have to respect it now.
And we're just fans, bro.
And
Understand this. Like, it's not that hard to see. Like, I guess we could sound like experts if we wanted to just break down shit ourselves because it's so simple.
It's simple. It's the most simple, complex game in the world.
Yeah, and basically what we've come to the conclusion is that Nagy needs elite talent everywhere to look like a good coach. What fucking coach can't coach that?
Good point.
He's not a developer of talent, and we just can't get things right. You know what I mean? Like we can't have it.
What's the one advantage of running RPO? Your linemen do what? What do?
They block the same.
They block the same every play. Why aren't you doing it? Same as always.
And as much as I hate to give Green Bay credit for anything, they brought a young offensive mind in with a fucking elite quarterback.
Yeah, and the elite quarterback took the coaching.
That works, right?
Yeah, obviously.
A young, innovative offensive mind that we thought Nagy was came into a situation where it's like, here's a rookie in a shitty offensive. Here's a young guy in a shitty offensive line. Have fun. No elite talent on your skill positions. It was just it wasn't the right guy for this job at that time. We needed a guy that could come in and make people better, and we didn't hire that.
Right.
We hired a guy who forgot Kareem Hunt was the NFL's leading rusher, up 21 points in a playoff game, and refused to hand him the ball.
I remember that guy.
I know we hear a lot of Nagy slander, but this is just as much on fucking the pomade Prince pace.
Pomade Prince, love it.
There are people who want him as president of football ops. They want him hiring the next GM.
No, it should be a package deal. Out the fucking
110%. 110%.
Restructure it. Put Teddy in, can stay in his little financial thing, like we've been saying, and get a head of football operations. That's has not even so much a guy that's played the game, but a guy that's proven that he can evaluate the game.
Your idea last week: blank check, hand it over to Ozzie Newsome.
Oh God,
whatever it takes.
Yeah, because he knows enough to get the right GM in here that he could work with, and now we're rolling.
Yeah,
and the right coach.
Just the thing that makes me so mad is we had Ron Rivera here, and I know there's a lot of. I love Chico. I think Chico would have been a great. How do you let that guy go? You had a chance to get him when he was at Carolina. And you let him go to Washington, which actually for Washington football teams, probably their saving grace of face. And think about all the glue that he's good enough not only to make the Washington football team competitive, but he has to hold all that shit together with the Daniel Snyder shit going on. Tell me you don't want that guy in your office. Tell me you don't want him running shit. You're wrong. You absolutely want a guy like that running things. And we had him.
I don't know if I can get this in good enough, but he said that's Matt Nagy on the sideline tomorrow.
Is that the kid from Power Rangers?
Is that Aaron?
Jesus
no,
Christ,
it was Nick Blayton.
Nice. AA did put a nice little poll up today, which I'm going to pull up right now.
You like polls, Jared?
Oh, love them. They're the best. So here's the deal. The question was posted, what does Tabor have to do to seal Nagy's fate? The answers are score 20 points, which is at 33%, win, which is at 15%, not be Nagy, which is 27%, and nothing, it's already sealed, is at 25%. That was 125 votes. 124 votes.
And repeat the original poll question again for me.
What does Tabor have to do to seal Matt Nagy's fate?
Run slant passes.
It's a great question. And I think if you score over 20 and win, by running slants and screens and play action successfully. Oh.
If I'm Tabor, I'm just saying, you know what? Shut off the iPad that Nagy's on for a minute. We're doing our own fucking thing this week. What do we have to lose? Like,
it's Soldier Field. It's Soldier Field. The Wi-Fi won't work anyway.
I'm just saying, what do we have to lose? Just fucking, let's get crazy. Which is actually just getting back to normal, simple football.
Exactly. So what do you think, Biscuits? What would it take?
I think I'm going with option D. I think it's already sealed. I don't think there's anything that's going to happen this weekend that's going to change the outlook that this franchise has on Matt Nagy. This is a franchise built off collaboration. They're going, if we go out there and it looks drastically different, they are going to preach collaborative effort. They will. I don't think there's anything. If Bears fans think Nagy's getting fired after we score 24 points, I don't think there's any shot in hell that happens. Not that it shouldn't happen. I just don't think Ryan Pace and the McCaskies will do that.
What if Chris Tabor comes up and says, yeah, we just decided to scrap the playbook and we went back to simple football in a press conference?
Now,
and just goes full,
that would be something.
Full fucking ether.
That would really be something.
I don't think he would.
I don't think he would either, but that would be a huge indictment, obviously. That goes without saying.
Well, you're going to know. I feel like you're going to know pretty quick.
Yeah, what it looks like. I agree with that.
When it looks different. Because if it looks different, people are going to be like, this is obviously not a Nagy offense.
If we come out and actually fucking try to take a deep shot first play, I'm going to be like, even if it's not successful, just to switch up.
We've tried deep shots before, but on max protect, and it doesn't always work.
If we come out and hit a slant pass.
Now, there.
I might need a terrible towel.
You're going to need a wet nap.
That's what I told my boy, like, going to the Steelers games, like, I'm bringing my terrible towel, so I'm going to wipe my ass with it.
We're gonna even them out.
I would like to see some crossing routes, some rub routes. I would like to see the tight ends leak out. Go ahead, B.
Sorry, man.
No, you're good.
You're talking football. I'm interrupting. Do they hand those shits out at Pittsburgh?
No, he wasn't talking football.
Do they hand
really
those
listen?
Towels, they hand those towels out when you walk in the stadium. Is it like
someone said it's a law that you have to have one to get into the stadium as a Steelers fan?
We could have fun with those props.
The Nagy towel should be
a terrible
towel. A Nagy towel. Towel versus towel.
It's just a towel full of plays on it. It looks like a fucking play card.
I hope I don't get hit with one of those towels, man.
So what was that? What was that great analysis that you were giving out there?
You said anal.
Anal.
Well, he's going tight ends leaking and.
Yeah, so I was on Pornhub last night and doing some intense review film analysis here.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that was once your penetration. There was penetration.
Excellent.
There was.
Excellent.
Had a good angle of it. No, I want to see the passing game different. If you're calling deep shots, I want to see route combinations underneath that's taking advantage of the open space. I want to see crossers. I want to see rub routes.
When's the last time you saw a sluggo? Slant and go.
Couldn't even tell you.
You can't, because you don't run the slant. You can't run a slant and go.
Boom.
And they were running quick game with Dalton.
Yeah, stop. Sticks routes. Stop.
Yeah. Everything's just been so static. And you wonder why what we saw last week with Tampa Bay's DBs essentially running the routes for the Bears wide receivers. I didn't watch the all 22 either. No one has access to it, but you could see it on the game tape, on the broadcast tape.
Yeah, we're predictable as fuck.
Yep.
I just don't. I don't want to be the negative guy. I think this week, because of the matchup, because of my assumption is Nagy being out. I think Jared makes a great point with Tabor maybe wanting to make an audition for himself, but I think they're going to play it safe. I think this is going to be a game where we go back to our identity and we run the shit out of the football. Stats matchup say that might not be a bad idea.
Okay. Score predictions or any predictions of any sort?
Hey, yo,
Biscuits first.
Yo, break us off with them hot score predictions.
Yo, you want it the quarter by quarter score predictions, or
No.
you want
I'm
final
actually
game
just-
analysis?
Make him the big screen.
Here we go.
Oh, why are you doing that?
There it is.
Well, you're the
All
prettiest guy on the pod, supposedly.
You know, I'm thinking maybe Bill is blind. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. Everybody knows Jer is the most handsome man on this pod, but
facts.
my score prediction, oddly enough, and this is for no rhyme or reason, but if you're looking for a trend, the Bears on Halloween are 2-0. 2-0 on Halloween.
I was at the Minnesota game. It was bomb.
And one of those two wins was against who? The San Francisco 49ers. Now, does that mean anything? Absolutely not. But that's where my prediction is going. I have Bears 23, 49ers 20.
Oh, my.
Tabor gets it done.
Well, I guess I'll go next. Since somebody is MIA on mic and camera. This is it. This is the game for Justin. He goes for 300. He throws 3 touchdowns. 3 total touchdowns. Bears in a blowout. 38-10.
Whoa, coming in hot.
And Justin in his post-game presser reminds him that, well, I did a lot of work with the receivers and we changed a lot of things up in the offense to make it work.
And the bald-headed fraud was not here.
I like it.
Correct.
What an indictment on the coach.
Yep.
Seriously. Yeah.
If the rookie quarterback's the one that
Because he is the only one. He's the only one in that house that can do it. He really is.
Yeah.
I would call Ryan Day and say, if I was Nagy, I'd be like, can you design a game plan this week?
No shit.
So I'll go 28-17. Bears.
Oh, clean sweep this week.
We're feeling it. 4-4. And by the way, when you're 3-4 and 4-4, you don't trade people. You're still in the hunt.
Is that a Montgomery reference and A-Rob?
Montgomery, Hicks, A-Rob. Who else? You just don't.
Sure, man. It's cute that you want to be like a fucking thrift shop Adam Schefter. It's cute, right? But it's not like it's like breaking news that fucking A-Rob's agent's miserable with him in Chicago and wants him to go somewhere where they're going to sign him long term that he can put up stats. I mean, that's not even if your so-called source tipped you off to that, it's not anything we don't fucking know.
Reaching for logical assumptions.
Right. It's been a battle with A-Rob and his agent behind the scenes for what, 3 seasons now, 2 seasons. It's not anything new. It's not like I don't know. And you got Montgomery because Herbert's a rookie running backs had a couple good games. I just don't. Monty's under contract for a couple more years. If he's healthy,
Yep.
he's a top 10 back.
Yeah.
I just don't. Why would you? We can't afford to, especially under rookie deals. We're in no place to let talent like that go. We're not. We need to lean on that. We can't afford to lose that right now because of the fact that our offense. We need those guys. So A-Rob, if they could get like a second round pick for him, and I don't know.
He's the one guy that I would entertain it, just because with the comp pick formula, it's a third round at best, but I think they're going to spend the money the next offseason to offset a lot of that. So if you tell me a second, that's the one guy that, yes, I would trade. And as good as Khalil Herbert has been, I think people also need to pump the brakes. It's only been 2 starts, and we're talking about trading David Montgomery away for a guy who has 193 yards in 2 starts.
I don't,
and can't pick up blitzes.
Give him pace that pick though. I don't know, man. Like I don't think we can afford to let Allen Robinson go because we don't have a lot of depth. Like you need one professional receiver for Fields to be able to lean on. A-Rob can be that guy.
Got Bird, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like and I like Mooney, but he's not ready to be a 1. He's just not. No. He's not ready to be the focus of a defense focusing on him. He's just not there yet. So, like, we can't afford to give up A-Rob unless we get blown out of the water, man. And I don't see that happening.
Well, I think what they will do and what we think they should do are 2 different things. I don't think they're going to trade A-Rob personally.
I wouldn't.
No, they won't. Nobody's getting moved.
Not if you're trying to develop Fields. Who you going to have step in for him?
Right.
But I would argue to counter that, play devil's advocate a little bit, is A-Rob aiding in Justin Fields' development right now. Granted, it's not an A-Rob specific issue. It's a scheme issue. But is he really aiding his development? Running
Justin making the statements that he made, I think that would be enough to get the receiver to be motivated, be like, oh, we're going to go outside the box, huh? We're going to put up double birds to the coach and be like, we're going to run this.
Well, I mean, honestly, as a defensive coordinator going up against the Bears, who's the one offensive weapon that you would focus on?
Allen Robinson.
So even as a decoy, like we have nobody else to step in to be a decoy that a defense is going to worry about. If anything, if you get rid of A-Rob, now the defense can just kind of focus on everybody, which isn't a big deal. It's actually easier. Like A-Rob is at least a focal point in your game plan defensively.
Is he though?
Absolutely. You can't.
You think so?
Yeah. If the offensive line starts blocking, absolutely. You give Justin time. Yeah, A-Rob's a problem.
I think I'm just so.
I'm not saying he's elite. I'm not saying he's a top. Honestly, right now, top 10, maybe not, but top 15 probably.
Just the way that they're using him, I don't know why that would scare any defense. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you're probably right. I think I'm just salty.
Also, being on a franchise tag, I don't know his willingness to want to be going up the middle, but that's where I would be using him right now. I would put him in that Jimmy Graham role and have him run slants all day. But I can understand his reluctancy to do that on a fucking franchise tag because that's a dangerous way to make a living.
Can't imagine he's too happy right now with his production.
No.
7 games in.
No. And Jared's muted and talking, which is cool.
Such a rookie move. Such a rookie move. I made my player bold predictions. You got any?
B, you want to go first?
It's hard to predict, man. If the offensive line's blocking, I can make some predictions. I don't know.
Wishful thoughts.
65 yards for Komet receiving and a tutty.
That was mine from last week and got screwed out of that.
Robinson, 100 yards.
There you go.
Whoa.
And I'm just grasping for straws at this point. It's so hard to predict this.
I'm going to go double up 2s. Herbert gets 2 touchdowns. Gibson gets 2 sacks.
Ooh. The defense creates a turnover. That's actually breaking news.
Jalen Johnson, pick 6.
That would be nice, too.
Welcome home, Jimmy G.
The Niners only have 1 interception this year, almost dead last.
Oh, Great.
Sorry, boys, didn't mean to bring that one up, but
Ouch.
we ranked 22nd with 10 turnovers. There's some hot stats before we leave you here.
3 passing touchdowns to this point. It's
pathetic.
Absolute insanity.
They have 3 times as many as ours, and their offense has not looked entirely impressive at all. They have 9 between Garoppolo and Trey Lance.
If we throw 3 touchdowns, you don't let Matt Nagy back in the building.
Agreed.
I personally wouldn't, but
if we match our season total in one game, be like, bro, that protocol is going to be a little longer than expected. And I hope again, COVID is not a joke. I hope he recovers okay. I hope his family's not exposed to it and all that stuff. But it's just it's been such a wild ride this season with off field and on field stuff, man.
Nobody thinks you're being facetious or
no.
You know what's up. Yeah. It's the whole idea.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, this is about football.
Yeah, you're not wishing him ill will. You just
I
want him coaching our football team.
Yeah, I would just basically come up with a thing where you need 100 negative tests before you can step foot back in the building.
In a row.
If they throw for 3 touchdowns, if they match our season total in touchdowns in one game.
The dude's going to have a nosebleed. Here, shove this up here. Do it again.
And it's not like, I mean, the Niners would be a lot more explosive with Kittle. That's another thing. So that's something we don't have to worry about defensively. We can focus on other things.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy that's missed.
Could have a
big time,
huge game from Roquan, I'm expecting. So,
all right.
Halloween Havoc in Soldier Field.
Ooh. The Chris Tabor-led Chicago Bears look to defend the hallowed grounds of Soldier Field versus the thirsty San Francisco 49ers. Almost as thirsty as the thirst traps on Twitter.
That's
I just want to see Justin Ball out, man. He's due.
Yeah, we've all been waiting for that. Yeah. Any time now would be nice. I don't see it happening this week.
Oh.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get that 300 yards and 3 touchdown prediction from Jared.
We're going to the game next week. I'm hoping that this is just like a good performance, little momentum going into Pittsburgh, so we have something to be hopeful for.
Yeah, because it could be a very depressing game.
I'm going to go dark. If there's one thing that we need this weekend,
dude, I'm driving to Pittsburgh, bro. Don't go too dark because I will cancel my fucking trip.
Here's my concern. Offensive line needs to play a really good game against Bosa and company. I do not want to have to be watching Andy Dalton next Sunday in Pittsburgh. I don't want to hop on a COVID can, fly to Pittsburgh, and end up watching Andy Dalton throw 3-yard stick routes again. I don't want to do that. Offensive line, please protect Justin.
Yeah, if we
protect the asset.
If we trade Dalton to Pittsburgh and we have to see him play for them, that's fine.
I'm cool with that. That'd be fine.
All right. Well, on that note,
big trade deadline Tuesday, guys. We might have some hot info.
Oh, before I leave, a source just texted me that if the Bears win this weekend, they will be 500. Have to confirm it, but that's what the source is telling me. So figured I'd share it with you guys.
Nice. Thanks, man. That's I didn't know you were connected like that.
I can't reveal my source. I don't want to ruin his career, but it's out there.
Nice.
Thank you, Brandon Parker. Okay.
The Source Awards.
There it is. That's what it is. At the end of the trade deadline, we're going to have the Source Awards.
Yeah, just pull up everybody's source tweets and sources exposed.
Can we get a host? Can Source Egg host the Source Awards?
Gonna have to reach out to Source Egg.
Yeah, I think I can hit him up.
The Source Awards it is. All right, boys. Let's go watch this Bears team get a win, hopefully. And that's just another episode of The Tailgate Show.
The Bears.
The Tabor Experience.
I was hired to help you make this great team even better. We're doing paid time off, tuition assistance for school too. And hey, if they put into work, they can make manager on this team.
What a